Hi, the adult. How are you? I'm fine. Um, yeah, I'm enjoying the new kind of weather. One thing during this lockdown has been we've seen just extremes, haven't we? From the snow and now to the bright sunshine. And it feels like it's all coming a full circle again as we're heading into March. And obviously, I think it was March the 21st, we went into the first lockdown. So I don't know, it's just made me feel really reflective about how I've changed and how I see things slightly differently now. Before I will never take for granted get my hair done at the hairdressers. Now, I'm not going to go like that because my roots are crazy. But it's weird. I've noticed a lot of people my age walking around with hats on or stuff on their hair because they haven't been to a hairdresser to sort their hair out. And I've had a few chats with mums in the playground asking advice. So yeah, this definitely needs to be sorted. I even went out this morning after dropping my daughter off quickly, and I bought some of the weird sprays. So let me know if it gets too crazy, will you? Because I know you'll tell me the truth. Right, so that's one thing that I can't wait for to get back into is hairdressers. What about you? What have you really missed? Another thing that I've actually now for me, I mean, it looks like I'm not 100% sure. I mean, like you've been looking at what Nicola Sturgeon has been saying. And I really don't know when we're going to get back into schools, but the thought of it could be, for me, soonish, especially because I teach senior classes, has made me, in a way, rethink some of the frustrations I felt with working from home. And suddenly, when that's taken away from you, you begin to think, oh, do you know what? There were some good things about it. I mean, I know we've talked about this before. Sometimes the pace of life is a killer, but other times when you're in the mood for that kind of slow pace, it's actually quite nice. And on a bright day today, for example, I've begun to notice which birds come into my garden. There's a robin that always sits and defends his patch at the bottom of our garden. And there's always a crow, which my daughter's convinced speaks to her because she screams, back at him. And they seem to have this weird conversation. Maybe she can speak crow, maybe I'm the stupid one. But yeah, I would never have noticed that, those patterns emerging. And it did remind me of, you know me, English teacher, it did remind me of my favourite poem by Carol Ann Duffy. And it's a poem where you notice small things in life and it gives you comfort. And don't worry, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but one of my favourite lines in it is, so a woman will lift her head from the sieve of her hands and stare at the minims sung by a tree, a sudden gift. So I suppose if you think minims are notes, and you know that shh, that's really relax. I love that sound. Always say to my daughter when we hear that sound, like, shh, Mummy's listening to the trees, because that's my favourite sound. And then there's another one that I like in this, and it's Grade 1 piano scales console the lodger looking out across the Midlands town. So, somebody practicing the piano really badly. I remember this when I was in university and I felt really miserable because I was missing home and I had lots of work to do and lots of exams, and it really wasn't it was a serious part of the year. So all the fun had been stripped away from it, and I was getting quite stressed about this exam I had to sit, and didn't have any of my family around me because I lived in student accommodation. No one to talk to really. I mean, I could have phoned them, but it's not the same sometimes. And then I could hear next to me somebody who's obviously studying music was playing the flute, a nice little piece. And I don't know, it just gave me a little bit of comfort, just almost this feeling that I wasn't on my own. And so a lodger who doesn't live in a town, doesn't have their family nearby, maybe hears something that takes them back to their childhood, or reminds them that, you know, we may not know each other, but there sometimes is a comfort from noticing that we're all around each other. I take comfort for the example. I'm not really sure why, but when I'm sitting there typing on my computer, I'm like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. David across the road is about to take his black lab for his 11's walk. 5, 4, there he goes. You could probably guess my favourite film is Groundhog Day. Right, just at the end, I am going to leave you now and hope you have a good day. This is a work call, by the way. I'm not just like talking to a pal.